Now, to discuss these final developments that are coming out of Singapore before the big day, we have with us Professor Kim Hyun-wook from the Korea National Diplomatic Academy. It's good to have you with us again, Professor.
Thank you.
Now, Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump arrived on Sunday quite a bit earlier than previously we expected. What do you make of the fact that they came so early?
Well, I think the current level of negotiations and agreements in a working level has not been really close yet, I don't think. I mean, they have been talking and talking. Kim Young-chul's letter to Donald Trump made some breakthrough that would move forward the negotiation in the working level. But I don't think there have been agreement in a very important issues yet. So I think the working level people, I think they have arrived on 9th, and two presidents have arrived in Singapore on 10th. So I think they have been talking and discussing. Even now, I think they're working about how to make a draft much more refined until the summit, I think. So maybe they come and write with the two presidents. There might be more close talks and negotiation possible. I think that's the reason why they came earlier.
We'll go on to those negotiations in just a bit. But first, Kim Jong-un's movements. There was a lot of focus on how he was going to come to Singapore, when he was going to come, but a lot of it was very much shrouded in secrecy, and there was also a lot of red herrings to put us off our scent. There were supposedly 3 planes that were supposed to come. We didn't know which one he was on. Do you think there was a reason why he ended up doing it this way? Do you think there was trying to put the international media off their scent?
Yes, I think this is the first time trip to a foreign country, except for China, for the Kim Jong-un. I think he might have worried a lot about his security issues. Of course, he chartered an airplane from China. I think North Koreans are very self-confident and proud, and there's many experts have predicted that Kim Jong-un will take his own airplane, not Chinese airplane. But I was thinking, what is more important? That pride is more important, or security is more important? I think security is more important. I mean, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's airplane, it's been too old. I think it has been made in 1955, and there might be possibility, even though very low, of airplane collapse in the middle of flying from Pyongyang to Singapore. And also, you mentioned that there have been 3 airplanes which have took off with 1 hour interval. So after one airplane took off, after 1 hour, there has been another airplane that has took off. So made a lot of people in national aviation confused of which one is the one that Kim Jong-un is riding. So all this kind of thing, even after he has landed at Changi Airport, nobody, I think, no reports, media reports have cut a scene of Kim Jong-un moving into the hotel from his limousine. So I think all these things are kind of a proof that he is really worrying and concerned about the security of himself, I think.
But isn't it slightly almost embarrassing that Kim Jong-un and North Korea have a multi-billion-dollar nuclear missile plan, but no plane for him to get from North Korea to Singapore? Isn't that, for a regime like North Korea and for a leader like Kim, how would that be viewed in North Korea?
Well, I think that would have some kind of strategic, purpose, I think. Borrowing and chartering the airplane from China, I think that will give some message to the United States and China altogether. To China, okay, you're worrying about, excluded from the, the declaration of the end of Korean War. There have been a lot of rumors and messages by especially South Korean government about that three countries, South Korea, North Korea, and the U.S., declaring the end of Korea or someplace, maybe Singapore, which I don't think is unlikely. And China is really worrying about that and trying to put stronger ties with North Korea, worrying about, depriving North Korea, a very important buffer state to the United States. So I think this is a very clear message that, okay, North Korea, China is still very important countries, good relations. But at the same time, good messages to the President Trump. Okay, my backup is China. Okay, if you turn down the offers and proposals of North Korea, do not come up with a very happy agreement, I think China would be an important support country to North Korea. This is a very clear message and very good leverage to deal with President Trump at the negotiation table, I think.
So quite a political message. Now, going to Donald Trump, he also arrived on Sunday evening. Before he departed, though, where he left the G7 summit in Canada, he said he would know in 1 minute whether the summit with Kim would be successful once he's met him. What do you make of those remarks? You don't think the meeting will end in 1 minute, do you?
Well, he always made this kinds of messages. I mean, he is trying to show to the international community that he is someone different from other previous presidents. He knows how to deal with, counterparts. His masterpiece of, negotiations and deal making. And that kind of message is given at this time that, okay, in 1 minute, I know whether Kim Jong-un is ready to make a serious and sincere deal with him or not. Kind of, messages to Kim Jong-un himself. Okay, if you're not serious, I will definitely know that. I will kick out of, move out of the negotiation table. So, be serious about a sincere deal. Kind of, message to, Kim Jong-un, I think.
North Korean state media reported on Kim's arrival in Singapore. Now, it was quite a surprise for many reasons. I mean, one of them being because North Korean media normally reports on summits like this after they finished. And they also showed that the plane that he was on was Chinese. There was a big Chinese flag on the plane, which you could clearly see on the front page. What do you read from this, from this North Korean media, that they want to let people know about this summit?
Yes, so this is a very, exceptional messages. At the Rodong newspaper and Central News TV of North Korea, there have been reports about Kim Jong-un, having a summit meeting with President Trump in Singapore. Usually when he meets a leader of China in somewhere, Beijing or Dalian, until he comes back to North Korea, there have been no reports from North Korean media. But this time, he just departed from Pyongyang and there came out the media inside North Korea. Very exceptional. I think he's trying to make this a very formal and open policy inside North Korea. He's going out to Singapore to have a talk with Trump about denuclearization, but at the same time, to receive a regime guarantee from President Trump. I think he's making very clear that his policy has changed. But at the same time, he's making it very open that, okay, now he's taking a, Air China, which is Chinese airplane chartered by North Korea, which I think might be a shame for North Korean leaders. If Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung chartered airplane from China, I don't think he would have reported domestically. It's a shame for the leader of North Korea. But I think he's trying to be open. He's trying to be a normal leader and making North Korea a normal country. I think his stance looking at the international community and also people in North Korea is changing.
So working level talks between the two sides, North Korea and the U.S., carried out today involving Sung King on the U.S. side and Choi Son-hee on the North Korean side, like they've been doing over the last few weeks in Panmunjom. Now, having a meeting before the day of the summit, though, doesn't that suggest that they're still perhaps not ready and that they're still trying to make the details of the deal, putting it all together? I mean, how do you view the situation?
Yes, you're right. I don't think two countries have come up with very key issues yet. The gap is still there. some of the important issues on agenda, I think, would be the CVID issue. I mean, the President Trump made it clear repeatedly that CVID is the objective of Trump's North Korea policies. And inside the United States, if he repealed the CVID, the aftermath would be very tremendous. So he have to go for it. There will be no change in his objective, and that's something that North Korea is not happy to accept. I mean, CVID, very tough term. First, the verification itself is very tough. The U.S. experts and IEA experts would go into North Korean territory. They open all the facilities to check out whether North Korean scientists are developing any materials or weapons there. Opening up whatever they are asking to open is a very shameful, behavior and response from North Korean perspective. And also, secondly, irreversible. Irreversible means that, completely removing all the assets and technologies that enables North Korea to develop nuclear weapons, including scientists and people and everything. So that, I think, it would be very shameful, thing for North Korea. I mean, North Korean scientists should move to foreign countries, including the United States. They have to go there. Maybe they can work there as a scientist or for some other jobs they would have to take. That's really nonsense from the North Korean perspective. I think that's the foremost important agenda they have to narrow the gap with.
There's so much to talk about, but we're already running out of time. But the big day is finally upon us. Professor, give us your final thoughts going into tomorrow, going into this day. What do you think could happen? What could go wrong? And what would you like to say now?
I don't think they would not have a very complete agreement about the denuclearization and regime guarantee issues. But anyhow, they will come up with an agreement. And also at the same time, they will try to come up with a second or third summits. On the pathways, I think they would narrow the gap and make the agreement more and more complete, and trying to deepen the relationship between U.S. and North Korea. They have already exchanged their views that what is more important is to make a trust upon each other. Much bigger and bigger trust is something that they need. So I think that's an important thing, that taking a first step tomorrow.
Well, thank you for coming in today, and thank you for your insights as always. And we look forward to discussing this in more detail once the results of the summit come out.
Okay, thank you very much.